For many of us, the sound of a Spitfire's Merlin engine is very evocative. Try and imagine what it must be like for those who flew them in anger. My father was among them. Those pilots are now past. There may be a handful left, but they must be around 100 years old now. In my father's case, the Spitfire represented an escape from what went before. He was keen on flying. He had flown as a scout in Poland before the war, and he was caught up as the Russians advanced across eastern Poland. On his 18th birthday, the Germans had already attacked from the west, and Poland was heading towards another partition. Not that my father would have known about that, because before long he was packed off to Siberia, to the notorious Vorkuta Gulag. In some respects he was lucky. He avoided being liquidated, which was the fate of many of the Polish intelligentsia who were taken out to the Katyn forest and shot in the back of the head. The Russians didn't want any effective upper or middle class to be capable of leading any Poland. The Russians had always regarded Poland as being really theirs, because after all the Poles were Slavs, and Stalin had a similar attitude to Putin, if in some respects more brutal and tyrannical. My father was extremely fortunate in escaping Vorkuta. Not many did, and unaware that there had been an amnesty for Polish POWs after Germany attacked Russia in Operation Barbarossa, he walked and occasionally hitched to Tashkent, where General Anders had been advised, or in fact he was ordered to form an army in exile there. Now, it wasn't safe for my father, for various reasons that will be explained in the book Gulag to Spitfire, that comes out in late 2024, courtesy of those excellent people at the History Press. There's a lot of complication which will be explained, but suffice it to say, he eventually wound up in Britain, met a young woman who was working at Bletchley Park, and she became my mother, Angela. And my father, who everybody knew as Tomic, flew Spitfires towards the end of the war. Now, many may be forgiven for thinking that the end of the war was pretty well game over. It wasn't. The Germans didn't have much left in the way of an air force, but they had a hell of a lot of anti-aircraft guns. And Dad's job was to make sure that trains never reached their destination, that barges sank, and that ammunition dumps blew up. Just once did he find any German aircraft in the air, and he shot down one and damaged the other, which many years later was confirmed to have crashed. There were two Focke-Wulf 190s, and that was on January the 1st, 1945. However, the displacement and churn, for want of a better term, of those who got killed in those last few months of the war was such that of those who had engaged with number 317 Polish Squadron with the Luftwaffe on January 1st, 1945, by June 1945, only one who'd been in the air that day had survived. It was quite sad, really. There was such a terrible turnover, and post-war accidents happened, as you will learn from the book. So, look out for Gulag to Spitfire, by me, Andrew Hubert von Stauffer, and it comes out in the autumn of 2024. And for those who are wondering why someone with a German name was flying with Spitfire. My family were originally Austrian and came to Poland about 5 generations ago. The Fonstaufer bit in Polish would be Stauferów, which frankly is a bit too much of a mouthful for most British people. Thank you.